I think we all worry about feeling silly up here. And I have 3 things to say about that. 1, don't worry about it. 2, because it's going to happen. 3, and that's a good thing, actually. When I was 17, my drama teacher approached me to play the role of Hamlet in Hamlet. And this started a trend of me being the main character in everything, including my life. In Hamlet, I was Hamlet. In Julius Caesar, I was Julius Caesar. In Romeo and Juliet, I was Romeo and Juliet. There are a lot of costume changes for that. Hamlet has one of the most famous monologues in English theatre, the one that starts, "To be or not to be." Thank you very much. And so, age 17, full of vim and vigour, I stepped onto the stage, legs wide, arms outstretched, voice as loud as it would go, which at the age of 17 was not quite as loud as it is now. To be or not to be? That is the cur. What are you doing? My drama teacher, in the front row, not impressed. I'm doing a Shakespeare mess. She said, yeah, no, I can see. It's very serious. Well, I thought it was a serious thing, miss. She said, no, it is. Could you do it as a mouse? So I make my body as small as I can. It used to be possible to make it smaller. I wish I'd chosen a different thing here. To be or not to be? That is the quick. Good, great. Now as a farmer from Lancashire. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in that. Good, great. You don't know where Lancashire is, do you? I didn't. I still don't. I don't believe it's a real place.
You are in Lancashire.
I'm not, and I will fight you about it. And we did this for about an hour. Every single way you could say this line, I feel like I said this line. As loud as I could. To be or not to be? As quiet as I could. To be or not to be? Not in Italian. I didn't know Italian at the age of 17. Antonio, I'm not like you. Italian. High pitched. To be or not to be? As deep as I could go. Which again, at 17, not very deep. I've got much deeper. To be or not to be? As quickly as I could. To be or not to be? As slowly as I could. To be or not to be. At one point, she even had me pause for a count of 3 after every single phrase. To be or not to be. And it's terrifying. But it got me comfortable with silence, with being up here and letting there be nothing. Because when you invite silence, you also invite your audience. They're waiting to hear what you're going to say next. Then we moved on to body. Striding across the stage like an English king. To be or not to be. Jogging across the stage. To be or not to be. There were others, but I am a different shape to the one I was then. Spherical. Who said yes? The thing is, us actors, we know where our bodies are. Now this sounds ridiculous, I'm sure. You all know where your bodies are. It's about the bit below your neck and above the ground. That's your body. But I see people come up here and they realise all of a sudden they've got hands. And they're terrified. Where did these come from? They seem important. I'll pop them in my pockets for safekeeping, just in case I need them later. And while they're remembering their hands, they forget about their feet. And they suddenly think they're standing on 2 stumps. so they can't move in case they fall over. So what you get is 6 minutes of this. I've got hands! I don't have feet, but I've got hands! And it's not going to get you anywhere good. Actors, by contrast, we focus all the time about where our feet are. Are they planted solidly? Or are they unsteady, a bit drunk, a bit unsure? Are our spines upright, sneering, all the better to look down our noses at you? Or are we hunched over, villainous, criminal, trying to find somebody to plot against? And finally, our hands. Are our hands reaching for a dagger or out in an embrace? Bringing these two things together, our bodies and our voices, turn this whole thing into a performance. And I know there's advice about being authentic, and I think it's bullshit. You can't help being authentic up here. You just can't. And performance is not a bad word. A performance is a thing that you could wrap around the light of your authenticity and focus it. All those silly exercises, all that nonsense, it made me better at being serious. Now, I've teased you with this line all evening to be